Hello, we are going to do vocabulary. We are on pages 136 and 137. You have a new vocabulary sheet for Unit 7. This week you're going to look at Part 1. The vocabulary page that was in the folder that you got in your packet, the list needs to go in your homework folder just like we normally do. If you haven't done that yet, could you stop the video and do that now? We want to make sure that you don't get your papers mixed up or lost. So please do that before you start this part of the video. If you need to pause, go ahead. All right, everybody, I trust that you have your vocabulary paper down in your folder. And I also hope that you've already read your story on page 136. If you haven't, you need to pause it and read that story first. Please read carefully. You can have someone help you with it. If mom or someone is there and they want to, and you want to, they can read it to you except for the blue words. You need to try to say those. We're talking about Arthur. I know that when my kids were little, we watched the Arthur stories all the time, or you've read the Arthur books. Arthur does this, Arthur does that. Well, here is Mark Brown, and it is about him. It's about him as being the author of it. So let's look specifically at 137. Now that you've read that story, we are going to learn a new context clues strategy. Now remember, a context clue is what you try to find when you're unsure of what a word means. You're going digging for clues. It's a mystery. So you look at the clues in the context. The context is what is around it. So this is a new strategy we're learning. We are learning the context clue strategy, looking for how something is done. Look at the top of 137. They give us an example. If you look at it, it says on the example, in my book report, I mentioned the author by writing a few details about her. Mentioned is the word. If you didn't know what the word mentioned means, you could look at that sentence and get some clues. For instance, it says, I mentioned them. How? How was that done? How did I mention them? By writing a few details about her. Oh, those writing a few details about her has to do with being mentioned. That's how we figure it out. Let's look at the context clue strategy and use it in the Arthur story. So what we're going to be doing here is look at the part that says read. They've already done this work for you. So please pay close attention so you know it. Read, it says read the sentence with the unknown word. Read a sentence or two around it. They give it to you on this page, don't they? First, Brown writes the story. Then it's time to edit it by changing some things to make the story just right. The word in dark is edit. That's the word that we're trying to figure out the meaning for. So we're looking for context clues about the word edit. So there's time to edit it. All right, look for context clues. What clues showing how something is done can you find? Well, we're editing. How? Well, it says by changing some things to make the story just right. There's your clue. That's what it has to do with edit. Changing things to make the story just right. That's what you do when you edit. So let's think about this. Think about the context clues and other information you already know. Well, let's see what they say. I know that good writers read their writing and fix it. Oh, they fix it. So this person here is predicting a meaning for the word edit. They say the word edit must mean to fix and make better. It kind of makes sense because what does Mark Brown do? He changes it. He changes some things to make it just right. That seems like a good logical definition. And then we looked it up. They looked it up in the check. It says edit means to correct written material, to correct what you do, what you've written down. So that is what edit means. So I want you to think about that context clue strategy. Tomorrow, or the next day of your work, you are going to be looking, quickly look at page 138. You are going to be practicing this strategy, how things are done on the word scribble. Oh, you might say, Mrs. Carlson, I already know what scribble means. Yay, good, because you'll be able to use that information. But I want you to follow the steps that are listed here on page 138. Read the sentence with the word scribble in that story about Mark Brown, and then look for context clues. What clues in that story tell how something is done? And then you can proceed from there like you normally do. Happy hunting. Bye.